let's get ready for it, right? Let's get ready. Let's get ready for it, right? Let's get ready for season 3. House of the Dragons. It's here. The trailer's here. Looking really, really good. You know, what team are you? Team Black or Team Green? House of the Dragons. Getting that trailer was looking phenomenal. Looking like a lot of war is gonna happen. Looking like a lot of battles are gonna happen. And not only are we getting the Battle of the Gully, which is a big battle in the books, but we're getting a couple more extra ones that we want to see out there. I don't want to spoil it for you. I hope you watch it, you look at it, you say, "Hey, it is what it is." They the year worth the year from one season to the other. I hope you see that it's worth it. And you know, how's it gonna feel about Queen Rihanna going to King's Landing and seeing if she can rule, right? She's gonna be the first woman to sit in that chair, in that iron chair. Many of them have sat there, many of them have gone crazy, but there's a couple of that have been good, right? um, it's always been war, with battles in the kingdom, right? And it wasn't until the first king that we saw, King Jacques, and King Viserys, that there has been peace in the seven kingdoms or six kingdoms, right? If you can mention, because um, it's there's one kingdom that isn't conquered throughout the history on this time. But how is she gonna be as a ruler, as the first woman ruler? How is that gonna happen? You know, how is that gonna look like her taking over the capital, right? If she takes over that capital, how is she gonna feel about it? What is she gonna feel about it? What are her people, her her common people gonna feel of her, right? She helped them during the blockade in the last season. Do they still respect her? We see her having meals with people, right? In the Great Hall. Hey, people are gonna are they happy? Did they bend the knee? Did they say, "Hey, look, Rihanna, Rhaenyra, we're with you. We're gonna support you 100%," or is it, I'm not too sure. Let me see what kind of person she is, because every time the gods flip a coin, what kind of Targaryen are we gonna get? Right. So let's see what happens. You know, on a quick note, if you can mention me on the comments what other queen has sat in the Iron Throne, it'll be a little boost for me. So you know, comment on the down below on the comment section. The houses that we see in here seems, you know, at least I think that there's going to be two that disappear. Obviously, we don't see them down in the future. The first one is, who's the first one that's not going to be there? Is on the blacks. I think it's um, the Valerians, right? I don't believe that. I think that house is going to disappear in this upcoming season, right? That battle of the gullet is a lot of takes a lot of toll on Corley, right? It's gonna take a lot of toll on him, and he's not gonna know what to do. Um, he's basically lost everybody, right? He lost his wife, his son, his daughter, so he's the only one out there. What does he got to lose, right? His bastard kids don't want nothing with him. One is now a dragon rider, so what's next for him, right? Well, he's there's not much for him to, another one that I'm thinking about as party is the High Towers. The High Towers, as we know, they're not in Game of Thrones, right? We don't even see him in Duncan in the Egg, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So how is that gonna feel like? What's that gonna be like? You know, I think there's a lot of people here that needs to step up and name why they're so good at what they are, right? I think that there's one that we have to talk about. That's the Starks. The Starks is this big name that they use around a lot, but there's not evidence of them being so powerful. It's a powerful house, and like what they say. Well, like I don't think they. I think they've been misused. I hope they're used right, and you understand why they're so feared. Because I don't. I wouldn't fear them. You know, you look at their history. You got Torrhen Stark that marches south, and he bends the knee to Aegon the Conqueror, right? And then down the future, we see a couple of them that go down south in the future, you know, and they get whacked, they get killed, right? Then that Starks get beheaded. We get Rob Stark gets arrows and gets his throat slit, right? We get Rickon. We're not gonna talk about Rickon because that was a stupid death, right? Brandon stays as the king or whatever he is, he is what it is, right? So I think the Starks have a high needs to step up and tell us why they're that good, why they're so awesome in it. Another one I want to talk about is that's obviously the Lannisters is gonna be a big house, and we see them down in the future. The Tullys is in that battle. The twins is probably gonna be in those battles. So let's see what are all gonna use that you're gonna say to them, yeah, they are what they are, and they stay what they stay because that's them. That's you know that's the house that needs to be respected. That's the house that needs to actually be seen. Um, being a queen, for the first time in here, is going to be big for Queen Rhaenyra. But let's see what she's about. Let's see what she does. Let's see if she can move on. Let's see how she rules. But doesn't look that way. There's going to be people that are going to make her to fail because they don't agree with her. And what kind of queen is she going to be? As we can see, she doesn't want this to happen, but it's going to happen. This is the game of Westeros. This is a game of Thrones. You know it's gonna happen. You don't get what you want. You don't get the justice that you want. Hey, Allison, I want to see the complex. I want to see how's that relationship gonna work with in the future, right? Because she went behind the back of everybody to make this pact of Queen Rihanna to take over King's Landing, right? That she's gonna open the gates for her people and her dragons, and you know, to, she's gonna open the gates, and what's gonna happen? Oh, everybody's gonna surrender. The green's gonna say, "Hey, man, no problem. Here we go, man. Here's my sword. No, we're in peace." You know, no, Damon's gonna want to go out there and kill greens. He doesn't like them. He doesn't like anymore. He doesn't care. He'll burn them. He'll kill them. I think he's willing to do whatever is needed to get there, to get Rhaenyra in in the in the in the Iron Throne. But what's that relationship gonna be? Because Amon is gonna feel like if he had another blood rider, if he had Helene riding her dragon, he could have won those two. He could have defended King's Landing. So what's that gonna be? How is he gonna feel about that? You know, you know. There's a scene where I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, this looks so ironic, right? How is that looking? How is it looking? You know, when you have all these people coming out of the woods and coming out, and it just looks like, I remember like playing football and the coach would walk in between the offense and the defensive line, right? But in this one, and he'll drop the ball in the middle of the field, and you got to get the ball, and you got to sprint to get the ball, hit whoever you can, and that's what just looks like that scene right there, man. Oh my God, it's just so much action seems like to be happening this season. I don't know how we're gonna be left off, but I know we're in for a treat in this season. I know this is gonna be one of those seasons that's gonna be up there, and you're gonna say, "Wow, man," you know. Another thing I'm here to think about is, like after Daenerys took her King's Landing, right? She never was able to sit in the chair. But how would she have ruled had it been a woman ruling there, right? Because the other woman was just a fear, was just, I don't give a shit. I'll blow up anything. I'll kill you guys. I got a mountain. I got all these guys here lined up, these kings. I got the zombie dude that'll do my killing. So I got nothing to lose, right? I'm on the throne, right? How is she gonna feel in that moment, being in that throne, right? I mean, one last thing, and I just want to mention is, this is how we got here, right? By not honoring King V, wishes of putting his daughter, Princess Rhaenyra, in the Iron Throne, you know, and on that, we're gonna see more killings, you know, hopefully no more children, but if you know what's gonna happen. Don't know if it's gonna be in this season or not, but let's see it. Let's see what's gonna happen. Let's see what would it be. And also the Dragon is gonna be season 3. Expect it to be great. Expect it to be awesome. I love what HBO does with its work. It's gonna be a great summer. I can tell you that right now. It's gonna be a great, great summer. You know what I mean by that? We got the World Cup going on. We get, we get Game of Thrones. Right? I mean, can we eat more? You know, we're gonna get Green Lantern. We're gonna get Spider Man. We're gonna get all these things in this summer. Just think about it, how crazy it is to be in this summer. I think it's gonna be a great year. I think these movies are not gonna disappoint. Superman's gonna be out there as well. So, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. It's up to you. Thank you very much. I'll see you next trailer. Maybe, you know, um, I'm thinking about doing one for X-Men '97. I think that's another one that I'm really excited about. Nothing like watching the cartoons, waking up at 8 o'clock on a Saturday to watch cartoons. You don't want to be that kid that didn't know about it. But hey, if you like it, like, subscribe, and thank you very much for the support.